Hello, YouTube land. This is Brenton coming to you from Lexington, Kentucky, the Bluegrass State. If anyone has an encounter that they would like to share here on the show, it could be pictures, it could be video, an encounter story, Bigfoot, dog man, any kind of interesting paranormal, supernatural kind of story. If you think it'd be a good fit for the show, contact me at brentonsawin@gmail.com. If anyone wants to contribute to help this show, you can go to a link in the description, PayPal me, and you can do so there. And thank you to all who have contributed. Today's guest is Debby from Ohio. Now, it seems that we've been getting a lot of Ohio reports, from dogman stuff to Bigfoot or the Ohio Grassman kind of things, and even other kinds of activity in Ohio. Ohio seems to be a very, very active place. We've had Eve Doss on the show with all kinds of crazy creatures that she encounters up there with her research. And so Ohio is a very interesting place. My sister had an encounter in Ohio. I remember when I was a little kid, and my sister explaining what she saw to me. And not a lot was known about Bigfoot back then. But anyway, Ohio is a very good place if someone was researching. I'm telling you, there's a lot of things happening there. But Debbie has been in law enforcement, and she is still progressing even through that. She said that she's a little older now, and she's still in law enforcement and doing a private law enforcement type stuff, whatever that ends up being. I guess security type stuff or something. I'm not sure, but law enforcement. And she shared with me some pictures of her graduations and stuff like that. So it was kind of interesting and fun talking to her. But Debbie is encountering a lot of Bigfoot several different times in the area she's in, and seems to have this stuff around her home. She has sent a bunch of pictures. I'll show them as we speak. I'm not going to try to line them up with exactly what she's talking about, because there was quite a few pictures of stick structures. Sometimes stuff was in the pictures peeking, but I'll let you look for that stuff yourself. Foot tracks and stuff like that. And so I'll just kind of show those pictures as we talk. So let's just go talk with Debbie from Ohio. Okay, Debbie, if you would, I'd like for you to introduce yourself and kind of give us a brief bio on yourself, please.
All right. Well, I'm from Ashtabula County, and that's in Ohio. We're the largest county in the state of Ohio. And I am in law enforcement, and I'm private. I'm older. And this happened about 3 years ago. And I do have a bachelor's and an associate degree in law enforcement, criminal justice.
Yeah, that was some neat pictures you sent me there of your graduations and stuff like that. So congratulations on your education and what have you, and your service. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We most of us appreciate the law enforcement and what they do for everyone. You all put your lives on the line and make it possible for us to live safely in this country, and you should be appreciated more. That's for sure. Now, you had told me of an encounter that you had in the car, and I thought that was a very, very scary situation. If you would, let's just start with that one, please.
This happened approximately I would say 3 months ago. I was coming home from Walmart, and I was coming down my street, and it's the area, to give you an idea of the area, if you draw like I want to say a checkerboard pattern, or a tic-tac-toe pattern, you might say. If you take two of the lines that are horizontal, one of them is like Route 20, the other one is Route 84. Sorry, my phone's ringing here. Anyways, and then the other two streets are like Myers Road and Austin Road. Well, Austin Road has a school on it, and there is a police department, fire department station that they're building. As I came home at 11 o'clock at night, coming from Walmart, as I said, coming down the street, I happened to see this figure coming out of the reeds on the side of this, where the fire department building is. And it walked out a good 20 feet from the area of the reeds into the open clearing. And there's a street light there. And as I came down, I happened to see this figure, and I literally stopped my car. I would say within 30, maybe 35 feet from it. And it was humongous. It looked like a football player, or someone that's really heavy in size and weight, but muscular. It was like a 6-foot figure, all black hair. You could see the chest, the muscles, they stood out. And the hair was short. The arms were humongous. The legs were humongous. I'd say this person looked like two of me side by side. So it's like 4 foot going across the shoulders, coming down with maybe about a 54-inch waist. Like somebody that would be, my grandfather was a big man, and he used to wear a 4X suit. So that's about the size of this waistline of this figure. And then the leg size they were good. They were good size. And it was about 6 foot tall. And the hands came out, and they would look like, just like my hands. And only like 2 of my fingers were like one of theirs. And then their face, I could see some of their face. You could see their eyes were all black. The nose was like, I want to say shoved in, like a pushed in nose, a type effect. As I said, you could see all the muscles totally on this Bigfoot, I want to say, squash, whatever you want to put the technical term for it. But it saw me, and what it did is it walked backwards. It walked backwards 3 steps, and then it just disappeared into the reeds. I tried to get my camera out real quick from my phone, and of course, when I leave anywhere, I lock it. So I had to take the lock off. I'd stop, and there was just too much time to fuss with it. And by the time I got it out, it was gone.
Wow.
But it was very scary. I'm at that size of and it was different from the one that I happened to see 3 years ago. Totally.
Right.
It's size-wise.
Someone
and color.
Someone had emailed me about one coming out of the grass fields and was coming across the road, and this thing, they thought that they was going to hit it, and it jumped. And the car, I guess they didn't know for sure whether it jumped over the car or what had happened, but they were paranoid that the thing was going to land on the car, so I mean,
right.
it kind of reminded me of that when you said that you saw it, on off to the side and what have you. But yeah, up there they call it the grass man. Do you think that they kind of live in those reeds a lot, or?
I definitely think that there's some things that live up here. I'm not sure if they totally call them the grass man or not, but this thing was, as I said, it was huge. It was huge in the shoulder, going across like somebody with, like I said, a 4 foot at least across with, shoulder pads, like they were playing football or something. But as I said, they were totally black. You could see the biceps in it. You could see all the muscles in the body. It looked like they had like they were doing weightlifting and stuff, like you see on these competitive shows on TV. As far as size-wise, only the body was all black. It looked like an ape. Is what it looked like. It looked like a gorilla, like you see in a zoo. But on 2 feet, walking out. This one was black. You could see the chest looked like it was shiny a little bit. It looked like a human, only all totally black, only in a big size, as I said.
Yeah. Now the eyes on these things, sometimes it's like all black and you can't even see any white in the eyes. Was
Yeah,
that?
it was black. You could see the shine a little bit because of the light, but that's it. It was just for a split second because like I said, I saw him, he saw me, he looked at me, and it's just, and then it was like 3 steps back and he was gone. And I mean, his steps were, and he was already out like 20 feet out from, at least 20 feet out from the reeds. And all he did was like 3 steps going backwards. It'd take a normal human like 5 strides to get back to where he was at.
Right. That black eye thing, that's kind of scary. To me, when his eye is totally black, that's kind of like the black-eyed kid thing. It's a very scary looking thing. Was that something that was spooky to you?
Well, I had my car that I was in, and I was driving, like I said, and I had my window down, but every other window was up. And yeah, I want to say I wasn't as scared on that one as much as I was the one from 3 years ago.
Right. Well,
but from 3 years ago, and what I had seen another time going across the, I want to say, yard or this place where I saw that looked like a spider crawling, and that was the scariest thing. I just, that freaked me out, that one.
Right. Yeah, let's, I guess we'll move on to that one. Tell us about that, I guess.
All right, this was just prior to seeing the one over there by the fire department. My girlfriend and I were going to go out for breakfast, and my girlfriend got detained because she's a nurse, and somebody didn't show up, and she had to fill in for a few hours. So she asked me if I would wait around. So I was trying to do something to occupy my time. So I decided, well, I've been looking for a home from where I'm living at presently. So I started going out and looking around and saw this one home, and this was over on Myers Road in Geneva. And I had gone over the tracks and I came across this home, and I was looking at it and looked across the street, and I know that there's a pond by somebody's home over there. And then there was like this other area that was like 6 foot across at least, maybe a little larger. And it was all shiny. And I thought, well, why is the water sitting there, when there's a pond right there and the grass kind of goes down a little bit. But anyways, I was watching, all of a sudden this thing that was flat on the ground totally like lifted itself up about 12 inches. And then I saw it move, like I saw four appendages come out of it, let's put it that way. And then all of a sudden I saw another one come out, And I thought, oh my God, what am I seeing? And I looked for 3 more, thinking it was a huge spider, the biggest spider I've ever seen. But it moved like 2 feet in the front sideways, and then it moved its back sideways, and then it moved 2 feet forward in the front sideways. It moved sideways, however you want to put it. It just kept zigzagging back and forth with its feet, and it slowly just went into the reeds, and it disappeared. It never rose up whatsoever. It looked like shiny, like a plastic bag, like water on the ground, and it just lifted itself up, like, as I said, 12 inches off the ground, and just went back and forth pattern, and went into the reeds, and that's next to our railroad tracks, and it was gone.
So how many appendages did you see?
I saw 5. I believe one of them might have been the head, and then the other 4 legs, I want to say. They came out like horizontal and then went down like vertical, you know.
And what color was it?
That was all black as well. That was totally black. I was within about 35 feet from it. They're far enough away from the road, but yet the distance is, most everything I've seen is approximately 35 to 40 feet away from the road. I mean, they're close enough to be near it, but yet not close enough to be upon you, let's put it that way. I mean, they can get there real quick, I'm sure, but this moves very slow. I mean, it moved sideways, like I said, but it just moved slow, like a slow pattern, and that creeped me out, because I thought, you know, what am I seeing? You know, and after, like I said, I used to go camping with my dogs and thinking nothing about going camping in a tent and having my dogs with me, and used to camp, you know, with some other friends and things, but we'd all have our separate units and stuff. But after seeing that, I just don't know if I'd go back in the woods at all, period, even walk through them.
All right. Well, sometimes a Sasquatch will be low like that, and they will be low to the ground, and they'll kind of do a crawl like that. I've heard a few cases where they said it seemed like it moved like a spider. They stay real low to the ground, and they almost can like walk on their fingertips, it seems, but it sounds like to me, how big was the thing? Approximately.
That thing, approximately, I would say anywhere between 6 to 8 feet across.
Okay. So, I mean, it could have very well been one crawling. They've been known to do that. They crawl up on people sometimes at night. That's why a lot of Sasquatch people that go out looking for them won't go in the summertime, because the foliage is so thick they can crawl right up on you real close, and it's very scary. You know what I mean? When it's like, you look and it's like, well, there it is, kind of thing.
I've had some things out here by my window, my bathroom window. I had something out here a couple of nights ago, and it kind of it made a growling sound, and then it's something that whatever was there hit the house, and then it growled like a growl. And I've had that a couple of times out here. I've had a few things out here.
Right.
Enough that a little scary.
I mean,
but it's just fun.
It seems like you got, activity around your home where they're looking in the windows and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've had.
Go ahead.
I've had things look through my window. I've had things outside my house, like I said, and I've had somebody actually push my house that it may have actually shifted it. I want to say it shook it enough to shake it. I've had that twice now. I've had somebody walk across my ceiling, or not my ceiling, but my roof, there was neighbors, kids around me before, and now there isn't. I've had, like I said, a couple of times things have growled at me. One night I opened up the window and I had these little, I want to say, they look like three little lights floating around. That was a few things that I don't have any pictures of, but that was like kind of scary, you know.
Right.
I don't know how to explain those things. That type of thing, I don't know how to. You know, I had something when we were small. When I was an encounter with my uncle used to work near the Lake Erie, and we watched it. We took him down a dinner one night, and there was everybody was out there eating, and we watched over the lake, and we saw this like flying object come down over the lake and put a light down to the water, and you could see the water coming up to this saucer, this flying saucer. That was when I was a kid. I mean, that was like a long time ago, but you know, but when you see these little flying things floating around, they're bigger than they were not your little lightning bugs that you go out and catch. These were about the size of a golf ball floating around. And that was a little weird. I've never really, as I said, I thought anything too much about that stuff. But
so you saw something fly down and it was pulling water up to itself?
Right. That was when I was a kid. I was, I'd say 8 years old at the time when that happened.
Well, it sounds similar to like the Gulf breeze stuff that was happening down in Florida. They would like see these round craft, like UFO looking things. They would go over the water and they would drop something like in the water, and they would be pulling water up. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I've just said that, and years ago, my when Walt Disney World opened up in Florida, that was back in 1970. But I think it was 71 or 72. My cousin had gone down there, and they were taking a picture of the lights where they were all lit up and stuff, and the water was coming up. It was like a waterfall. They had taken something at that time, and they went and got their pictures developed, and they saw these objects in the film, and they went ahead and had them developed. And when they noticed that, they contacted, I guess, the government on these pictures and stuff, and they verified that they were the original copies, and they confiscated everything that my cousins, all their pictures on their films, they confiscated it, all the government did, and they never did get their pictures back, totally.
Wow.
But these pictures had things in it that I don't know what they were exactly, but I do know that they complained about it, that all their family pictures were on it and never got them back because of those, whatever was floating around above these lights back then. But that's been a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, hard saying whether that was something they had or something that they didn't know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I think the government knew, and they just didn't want to say what it was.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It might be something that they were trying to work on, something of theirs, or it might be something that they were tracking, It's hard saying.
Right.
Very interesting stuff, though.
Yeah.
Now
there's another one.
You said you had things walking across your roof?
Yeah, I've had something walking across my roof at night. You can hear them like, I want to say something like somebody playing or something. That's been some time ago. That was about a year ago that had happened. And as I said, there was kids around next door to me, and they've moved since then. And that was at that time period. I've read where, I guess the Sasquatch have children and they like to play on the rooftops and stuff like that. When I go out anymore, I don't look at eye level. I look up and higher. I look higher. I look like 10 feet, 12 feet in the air before and I look up in the trees actually. Before I even get out and go into my house anymore, I look in my tree, or I shine a flashlight up into it to make sure there's nothing in it before I even walk into my house.
Right.
And that's you must get paranoid on that one, but it's something.
They get in the trees, that's for sure.
It's something that, after seeing what I've seen, I don't take anything for granted anymore. And I was always aware of my surrounding before, but I'm even more so now.
Right. Now the growling, so you was having the activity around basically when you had children in living near, and you're thinking that that was attracting the attention.
Yeah, I think that. But the other night, when I had the growling, and there's no children, but I do have dogs, like I said, and I don't know if that was attraction that for the dog. What, I don't know. But I've just seen too many things happen, and too many things, I want to say too many of these things I've seen. I was taking care of a friend's animal while they were in the hospital, and I had to travel like 25 miles to get to their house but one way. And in the process, one of them was going down Griggs Road in Ashtabula County, off of Route 11. It was. As I went down Route 11, going south, I saw two of them walking in the woods right there off of Route 11 and Route 90. As I went down Griggs Road, which is like off of the extension where you can get off of it, but on the first extension, or get off of it on the second extension, which is 307, next exit out. I got off on the first exit, and Griggs Road is like in between, and that backtracks over top of a freeway. As I go down Griggs Road and off to the left there, they were drilling for an oil well down there, and I think what they did is they distorted some of the area that the home, or their home, I should say, and I saw something. I stopped on the tracks. I normally never stop on the railroad tracks, but I stopped in the middle because they hardly even use these tracks anymore. And underneath the tunnel in the far distance, I would say that's about half of a football field down where the tunnel is. And on the other side of the tunnel, you could see something sitting on the tracks. So I thought, is that a human being? I was going to call it in. But all of a sudden, this thing stood up, and this thing was too tall to be a human, and big in size. And then it literally took one step and it was gone. And it was in the middle of the track and took one step off to the side and it was gone. And the stride was 10 feet long, 10 feet at least, I'd say.
Wow.
The stride was too big. It'd take two hour strides to make up the one step. There's.
Right. Yeah, that's a big stride for sure.
Yeah, it's too big.
Right. Well, you have a bunch of pictures that you had sent. Looks like a lot of different, structures, from tree breaks to, it looks like basically to me stick structures of different kinds, nest areas, stuff like that. Are those near your home?
Yes, they're the one that I showed that had the animal off the tree branch, I want to say, or off the tree that was broken. That is near the covered bridge area, where they've been known to be seen there by several other people besides myself. But this one was a small, I want to say child. It wasn't no cat on there. It was too big to be a cat or an animal. This was, I actually saw it pick its head up and stretch its arms out like it was stretching, and then put them back down. That's why I knew it was not a cat. And that was, I believe, a young Squatch, but I was not about to get anywhere near it because I knew if it was there. His mama was close by.
Right. Yeah.
But I did get a picture of it, and I took it 3 different places, and I kind of blew them up a little bit, so that way you'd be able to see what it was.
Right.
That's near, as I said, it's called Harpersfield Covered Bridge. That was on the side road going up towards State Road. You have to go across the bridge from the one side to get to the other one, and both the roads, either road you take comes back up the State Road. Anyways, it was off to the side that was parallel to the river. That was that road. The other one was taken, it looks like I want to say like a tumbleweed type effect. And that was taken off of Nineveh Road. Some of the other structures were just kind of taken off close by areas around me. The areas I would say is a good feeding area for them. We have Geneva and the Lake State Park. We have Geneva and the Lake with all the food area down there. You come up like Austin Road, you have the grade school, which they leave their dumpsters out in the back. You come up towards Route 20 going south off of Austin. There's Mary's Diner, or it used to be called Mary's Diner, something else now, but there's a diner there. You have this town, which is going to be the Grape Jamboree here shortly. If you go south, more up on Centennial, which turns from Austin to Centennial, you've got the high school up there. You've got the high school up there. You go south even more. You have you go up Sherman to Griggs Road, and Griggs Road goes all the way from 534 and runs all the way to Route 45 parallel to Route 90. And up beyond that, you've got I call it Squire, but I guess it's called Spire with a P in it. Institute, which is a new sports center for all the schools to go and play their games in. You've got that up there. And the main roads are with houses on the outer edges on the main street, and then behind it it's all hills, all trees. And they're doing a lot of cutting down of areas, so everything's being kind of exposed more. Mm-hmm. And they're kind of moving around. These animals are moving around. It's got a good food chain. Plus, if you go up to Route 84, you go to west or to the east. I'm sorry. You've got an airport runway there, which is an open clearing that they can get from one place to another with no problem. Although I don't know if they would take that because that'd be open area. You also have the city dump off of Tuttle Road there. Tuttle Road it's called, which backs up right up to 90, and it's backs up into 90, and then it's straight across 90, which is an open area, and you go to the other side, and there's a lot of clearings that they can go through without any problems.
Yeah, I mean, all I know is that Ohio gets a lot of reports. There's a lot of stories that come from Ohio. I remember my sister, when we were little, had an encounter of one crossing the road in Ohio. I've had several people on, sharing their encounters. Ohio's got a lot of Bigfoot stuff, and I think Ohio is probably one of the highest reported areas for the Sasquatch activity. It seems like. Why that is, I don't know, but there seems to be a lot. So, I mean, a lot of the pictures, we'll be showing the pictures as you're talking. I'll put them in and stuff, but it looks like there's a lot of structures in there that aren't just natural kind of stuff. So to me, it looks very squatchy. And like I said, there's a lot of reports come from Ohio, and with Dogman and Bigfoot stuff. So
actually,
Is there any more in encounters that I've missed here?
I've had one 3 years ago. I was coming home. I was playing cards with my girlfriend, and she said, "Oh, come on, play another game." And so I did, and it made it really late. I usually go home before 2 o'clock in the morning if we play cards, and I played until about 3:30, 3 o'clock. I left her house about 3:05. By the time I got down to Route 20 to this location, it was still in Saybrook area, and as I came down at 3:30 in the morning, I'm going down, the road about 35, 40 miles an hour, and because it's night, I didn't want any deer coming out at me, so I'm just kind of taking my time getting home, and all of a sudden I see something out of the corner of my eye, speeding like a bullet. I want to say it was very fast, and I thought, well, is this a dirt bike? Kids playing around at night, coming up, and all of a sudden this thing comes running up, and I thought I was going to collide with it. I really did. I thought I was going to hit it right head on. It was in front of me, and I literally stopped my car. Literally just stopped it in the middle of the road. And this thing was within, I think, 3 inches of my front right bumper. And my headlights, at the time I hit it, I had said that it was like a brownish color, brownish red. But I got to thinking about it. It was more of a reddish color, and because my headlights were shining on the hair, and it gave off that cast. But it was like a chestnut brown, and as I said, with a reddish tint to it. And at that time, I could see like the skin underneath was like a whitish gray skin on that one. That was tall. That was humongous and tall. I would say it was about 1.5 feet from the size of a 18-wheeler box truck off the back end of it. That's how tall it was. That's the thing I was trying to compare it with, because an 18 had gone down through shortly after that had happened, and I was trying to compare it to size-wise. I was so shook up from that one. I'd never seen anything like that before. Never had any response to it. My son saw something when they went hunting in Harpersfield years ago, and they came running out of the woods because they had seen something, and it shook them up. And I didn't think too much about it over the years until this had happened over on Route 20 and in Saybrook there. And this thing was tall. It was very tall, massive. There again, size-wise, this was it was muscular, very, very muscular. But the one over on by the fire department, that was even shorter but muscular, even bigger in size than this other one, I would say. But still, they were big. It was big. It was humongous in size, tall, long arms. You could see everything. You could see everything. That was a male. It was tall. It was very tall. As I said, muscular, dark hair, or reddish hair, long arms. When it came up upon me, though, it had its hands up over its eyes, I think because of the lights. I don't know exactly. But all of a sudden, I saw it, and the next thing, I looked, it was gone. And I looked to the right of me. Literally turned myself around, looked behind me in my back seat, thinking came through my car or something. I literally then turned my eyes to the front, looked, and then turned them to the left to my driver's door, thinking, "Oh God, he's going to come in through the door." And it was nowhere around the car whatsoever. And then the next thing, I looked up the ceiling in my car, and I said, "I'm praying," and I'm saying, "Oh God, please don't let him come through my top of my car." And it never did. It never. Where it went, I have no idea. Whether it dropped to the ground and just crawled off, I have no idea. But I did not see it whatsoever after that split second of seeing it. And the size, as I said, I used to be a seamstress and sewed and did suits and things like this. And I'm going to say the width of the pant size was like a 52 waist, I would say, of this Bigfoot.
Right.
And the chest, and it was about the same size all the way from the chest area coming straight down. It was like drawing two lines and keeping the width of the area that's within about that same size. And just muscular, very muscular. You could see all the markings. You could see all the muscles and everything. But you could also see that, like I said, it was a reddish brown, like a chestnut brown with, and you could see, because the car lights were on it, you could see the skin, like the skin color underneath. But
Right. So
other than that,
do you think it jumped off of the road? Because I mean, they can jump a long way.
yeah, I believe it might have jumped because, it was looking, I think there might have been another one with it, because it looked at something, and when it looked at something, I mean, I saw its head turn, and when I saw the head turn, I looked and to thinking that he was looking at something else, and I thought maybe there's another one there. So I looked, and when I looked, and then I turned back, he was totally gone. Like I said, and that's when I looked around. All I could think of is that he went around the car, or he jumped and was coming through my ceiling of my car. That really that shook me up. And then I went home and I called my girlfriend and told her about it, and then I called somebody else. That time I called as I said, the BFO, and I called them, and Doug Waller is the person I talked to, and he said to me, did I call the authorities on this? And I said, I am the authority. And I didn't say too much more than that. I said I had just taken my state license too at that time, and I didn't want to say too much about it whatsoever.
Right.
But it's just, trying to get in, and, you don't want this kind of on your record, you might say.
Yeah, right.
Knowing.
Yeah. So you not knowing where it was worse than seeing it in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, knowing that it may come right through your ceiling of your car, and, you see your whole life flashes before you at that point. You just don't, it's the unknown of knowing.
Right.
I mean, I'm all for, we're all for facts, all for statistics. Everything has to be documented. And they went out the next day, and they did find tracks. They did find a nesting area. They got a hold of the person that owns the property where it came off of, and that's when they did find everything. And I guess there was somebody else in Asheville. And she's got prints and stuff too, a picture of it as well, and not of it, but of its print of its foot. I had looked that up the other day because I wanted to see what date. I couldn't remember the date, if it was the 18th, and it was the 18th of September 3 years ago that I had seen that.
Wow.
But it's just, I've seen too many of them in between that time and now, and I don't know why, that I've been so lucky to see that many, and I just don't know,
Yeah,
I can't explain.
I'd be a little bit nervous about living in an area with that many around.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think you're going to, no matter if it's this area or any other area, I think that they're going to be seen, or they're going to be around, no matter where you're at, in whatever part of the woods. They just, I think they're curious enough to know they want to come around and see things around and see what's going on, but they want to be kind of off by themselves, more private.
Right.
I think that, I don't know if, I just, you could try and stop it with a bullet, but I don't think you're going to kill them. Let's do it that way. You have to really, their system, I think, is a little different. I think if you would have to aim for a hip area or just above their hip area. We're taught to, if someone pulls a weapon on you, you're taught to order them to put their weapon down. If they don't, they continue to come within your space and they don't want to obey the law, then you have to take action. But I'm always one for the last step of keep saying, put your weapon down, put your weapon down. But if you turn around and you shoot them, I don't think you're gonna. They're too fast.
Yeah, I mean they're huge. I mean, you can't go in the woods and run into a grizzly bear and just shoot it and expect it to die right away. They're too big. These things are way bigger than that. So, yeah, I agree. Unless you have the right kind of gun and some distance between you, I wouldn't even think about shooting one.
380. If you shot one with a 380, you're going to put it in about the size of a can coming in, going through it, and on the backside it's going to be coming out like a basketball. But right. But you're not going to. I don't think that's going to even stop them because of the size. The strength. Pardon me. The strength is too much there. You see trees. A few weeks, as I said, 3 months ago, when a neighbor lived over here before they moved with the kids, I was sitting in the car because of the reception of my phone, talking on the phone. All of a sudden, I'm looking at the tree and thinking, "Wow, my tree's gone," and you can see where it's broken, and you can see other branches around the house, around the bushes and stuff where they've been broken, and that tells me that there's been a Sasquatch around, and I didn't think too much about it. I just told the neighbor to just beware. I don't know if she believed in him or not. She said she has seen him, and she would take, heed of it. But on the other hand, they moved, and since they've moved, I haven't had any problems until last 2 days ago. It's then when I heard that growl, and something hit the side of the house, and then growled. But I think it was around. Early in the morning, it was around 4 o'clock. I was in my bathroom, and that's when I heard it, and by my window. So.
Well, they might be migrating back through.
Well, I thought one time that they were living under my house. To be honest with you, because I have an area that it's warm in the winter, and it's the way the person had made this house before. They had opened up. I have a crawl area, and there was, they had made it like a heat vent underneath there, and so it kind of goes under because of the pipes there. And I thought maybe something crawled underneath the house, and my dogs raise holy heck every certain time in the morning. They just, and I don't know if it's coming or going at that point, but,
I mean, it's something to think about because, I had a lady on, who had that very thing happening. They were living under the house. It was kind of funny because she was like trying to tell her she was a little kid at the time. She was like, "I've been trying to tell you all that they're living under the house." I was like,
right.
My goodness, that is so horrible. But I use that as a soundbite at the beginning of the video, is that that's what I've been trying to tell you all. They're living under the house.
The stink of them, and they smell. Sometimes they smell atrocious, and other times you don't even know that they don't smell at all. You can hear something around. You can see like I have my place is like 4 foot off the ground, and then I have another 2 feet before the window, and then another 2 feet I have something in front of it, so they can't actually see anything from my floor to maybe about 4.5 feet high, and anything above that. And they're walking outside, and I could see yellowish eyes coming through them, 2 sets of curtains that I could see. And when I see those eyes, I just kind of duck out of the way. But I've seen it a couple of times coming across with these yellowish colored eyes peering through my curtains, and it's like, and that is 8 foot high, and it's at least another foot above that, and it's like, wow, they're tall. Whatever this is tall, and I've seen it a couple of times. That's enough that I've lived here where I live 12 years now, and I really want to get out of here. I just don't know if I want to continue to live here, as I said.
Well,
that's just,
I don't blame you. Yeah, that would be very unsettling to see eyes looking in my house. I don't think I would like that at all. Well, Deb,
No,
I really appreciate you sharing. And it sounds like to me that you just need to be careful about your surroundings like you're doing, and look in the trees too, because I know they get in the trees, and even the sentinel trees and stuff like that you've heard about. They watch the homes in the areas that they are, so that they know where the people are and they don't get caught.
exactly.
Uh,
Exactly. That's why I said they keep pretty much they keep far enough away, but yet close enough that they can see what's going on. And I think they're attracted to the children. Like I said, you can just see different signs of different things, and that's what I've noticed. I've just kept my eyes open and watched things, and I stare at things for a long time to see if anything moves.
yeah.
But
Well, if you had activity and then it went away for a few months and it's starting back up, they might be in that loop, that migration loop. I think they rotate around like a certain area and they'll move, and it takes sometimes a couple months or a couple weeks or whatever to make that loop. So, I mean, just pay attention. If the activity picks up every couple months, then that might be the time that it takes to make that loop. That might not be every case in every state or whatever, but
right.
that's just something to think about. But thank you for sharing. Very
Yeah.
interesting stuff. And
You're welcome.
and if you have any more activity, if it keeps picking up, and you kind of figure out the maybe that they have made this loop wherever they're going, that if the activity keeps picking up, um, kind of keep me posted.
All right, I'll do that.
All right. Well, thank you,
Thank you
Deb,
for having
and
me.
just hold on the line here, and everybody out there in YouTube land, thank you all for listening. If anyone has anything that they would like to share here on the show, contact me at brentonsawin@gmail.com. If you want to contribute to help with this show, you can find a PayPal me link in the description. Click that. Super easy to use. And until next time, God bless, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.